Tell me something good. Doo, doo. Bow, bow. Oh, what a great day. I love it. I love it. I love it. We are going live in 10. Nice. Get on board. This is awesome. I am so glad you're here with us. This is your next edition of next episode of Vision Alignment, where we all understand we have blindness in our lives. If we can understand that blindness, and we sometimes need to put those blinders on, but also sometimes we need to take those blinders off. If we can understand our blindness, and then we're going to be able to achieve much more than we've ever achieved before. So if our vision is aligned with our core beliefs, our core values, and our core strengths, our core, let's say, if we can do that, then we'll know so much more about what we're doing and the positive impact we're having on the world. Our special guest today is coming on, and he has had a huge impact on the world. And I want to make sure that you bring him on and welcome him with open arms, Mr. If I can find him, there he is, Mr. Michael Davis.
I didn't go anywhere. I'm here.
You haven't gone anywhere, and I appreciate that. Thank you so much for being on today, Michael.
Thank you, Brian. I just love your enthusiasm. You're better than a cup of coffee in the morning.
I've had a couple.
I couldn't tell.
Well, tell us, Michael. I'm going to ask you a question. Tell me, when is your first recollection of knowing your vision?
1988, I was a brand new financial planner sitting in a 300-person audience listening to a speaker. He was so funny. All I can remember is looking around, seeing 350 people with tears streaming down their eyes. And I saw he just had them. And this little voice inside of me said, you should be doing that. But I wasn't ready to hear it because I was a brand new advisor. And I thought, there's no way who would want to listen to me? I every reason in the world not to do it. Then it took another 15 years for me to connect with that vision.
Awesome. Awesome. If you want to hear more, stick around. We'll be right back. Well, Michael, thank you for coming on today. I really appreciate you. Before we get started, I want to encourage our listeners, that everybody that's on, to put in a hashtag live if you're listening to live. If you're listening to a replay, please put in a hashtag replay and let me know where you're coming in from. I want to make sure we continue to build this community that we have, that we've all been able to learn more about vision and learn more about those blind spots and how important it is to be in alignment with our core beliefs and our core values. So do that for me. And always, if you would, please put in your timeline of your Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever you're on, and put in a picture of you winking. And when you wink, I want you to think, I'm winking, and here's why. I want to make sure that I understand what makes me unique. And if I can understand what makes me unique, and this guy next to me, meaning me, knows what makes me and him unique, it's not my eye. It's my positive personality and how I'm able to overcome all that I have overcome, and how I'm able to share my story and have a positive impact on people. So what if I can understand what makes me unique, what makes you unique? So if you would please, I would love that. And it's always great to have you on. So we have a couple people that are on today. There's Linda Cosera. You know Linda?
I do.
Yeah.
Hi, Linda. Good to see you.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Good to see your name.
Good morning, Linda. Yes, right. And thank you from West Virginia. That's cool. Always good to have you on. Hopefully you and Greg are staying safe and warm. But also, Michael, I want to ask you, just if you would, obviously you told us a little bit about your story, 1988. That's awesome. Mm-hmm. Can you tell us the rest of your story?
Yeah, I mentioned after it took 15 years to reconnect, and it was in 2003. I get a call from our mutual friend, my very good dear friend, Darren LaCroix, who was the founder of Stage Time University. He's a certified speaking professional, and at the time he was the 2001 world champion of public speaking. Well, he calls me up and tells me, Michael, I got this new group I'm putting together, and I would love you to be one of the members. And what we're going to do is we're going to have some of the previous world champions be coaches, and we're going to help people become better speakers. And I said, sure, Darren, I'll help you out. I'll join. And as soon as I hung up the phone, I said, I don't want to be a part of that group. I want to be one of the faculty. Well, at the time, all the faculty were world champions of public speaking. So I thought, well, I guess I got to go win the world championship of public speaking. Well, that started me on another 14-year journey. The journey was essentially do what I could to become a world champion of public speaking. And a couple of times I did make it to what's now called the semifinal round, but I never did earn that title. Somehow I still made it onto that coaching faculty.
Awesome.
And the main reason is because Darren taught me something very early on as a mentor. He said, is actually some advice he got from one of his comedy mentors. The man's name was Vinny. And Vinny told Darren one day in the back of a comedy club, look, I see how hard you work. You're doing a great job. He said, I will give you 5 minutes anytime I headline somewhere. Mm-hmm. But if you ever turn me down, I'll never help you again. Huh. Now, that story was embedded in me the first time I ever heard Darren speak. So when he offered me part of this group, I joined. When he sold his products, I invested in his products. When he recommended that I go do anything, I just did it.
Yeah.
And it was through doing all of that work over and over and over again and getting certified with one of his fellow world champions, Craig Valentine. I got certified as one of his coaches. Eventually, they came to me and said, we've been watching you. And yeah, you don't have the credentials, but you have put in the work, and we see you know what you're doing. Would you join us as one of the faculty at Stage Time University?
That's awesome.
That's the short version of how I just kept doing what they told me to do, and it got me to where I am.
So all along the way of you working with them, how do you sustain yourself?
I'm not sure as far as keep doing the work. You mean?
Right. How did you keep that steadfast perspective?
It was understanding that even though I got into Toastmasters 26 years ago out of absolute fear, I was going to lose my job if I didn't become a better speaker. And I uncovered something about myself. I loved the craft of speaking, and I just couldn't get enough of it. And I realized at one point, this is my calling, especially helping others who I know had been in a similar situation as me, afraid, didn't know what to do, thought it was just something you're born with. Once I understood that that's not what it is, that it's a learnable skill and I can help others, then I was off and running. So it's never felt like work to me. That's what keeps it going. It's just what I'm meant to do.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what do you think the biggest factor to your success is?
I think it's just keep going. I know that's cliche, but in this case, it was simple. I knew that I had the right people to help me, the mentors. And if I just kept doing what they told me, that was it. And I just love every aspect of speaking, especially the storytelling part. And it's so interesting because in 2017, Darren asked me to host the weekly coaching calls through Stage Time University. Well, I didn't know this, and I told him this the other day. He didn't quite know either at the time, but he was getting me ready for COVID. Right? Because I had to become proficient online, and I had no experience, and it was a disaster in the beginning. I was awful. But he kept putting me out there because he knew he could see in me what I couldn't. And that's having mentors who see the best in you that you can't see. That's critical. So he just kept throwing me out there. And wow, when 2020 hit and COVID and lockdown, I was ready to help others because I knew where they were emotionally, kept getting thrust into this because I'd been there 3 years earlier.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's so many people that want to give you advice day after day after day, and it happens to me all the time. So, from your perspective, how have you been able to stay? You obviously your mentor is Darren LaCroix, one of your mentors. But how do you stay? I'm starting over the words here, but how do you stay with that and not go on different tangents?
This is an excellent question because when I was first in Toastmasters, I listened to everybody's advice, and it became a real problem.
Yeah.
It occurred to me one day the reason why, because I didn't have the confidence. I did not trust my own instincts and my gut. So after several years of speaking, I finally learned that there are certain people, and really Darren and some of the other coaches taught me this. Everybody's qualified to give you opinion on how they feel about what your speech is or whatever you're doing. Mm-hmm. Not everybody's qualified to give you advice on how to fix it or how to make it better. And part of that is having the self-confidence to know, well, that's not my style. So in my world of speaking, if I gave a speech a couple of weeks ago, I'm working on a story and I got some great feedback on how to improve it. A couple of pieces of advice, I thought, okay, those are nice. And I thanked the person, but it wasn't me. And I know it isn't me. Yeah. You just got to know yourself and eventually just trust that, yeah, I know what's best for me.
Well, that's good advice. That's good advice right there. Interesting. So you're a Cincinnati guy. You've been in Blue Ash, Cincinnati area for a while now, I'm assuming.
For a while, yeah. I've lived most of my life in this area.
Yeah. So tell me what, and I know a little bit about Cincinnati from a food perspective. I know the pizza, it's very good, but what's your favorite kind of pizza?
I don't eat it much anymore, but when I do, it's pepperoni.
Yeah.
But if you're going to talk Cincinnati food, it's got to be the chili. Right. Skyline's the best, although Gold Star, Blue Ash chili is good too. But yeah, if you're not familiar with Cincinnati and the chili, it's not what you experienced growing up as chili if you're not from around here. It's different. It's awesome. It's addictive. I figure, I don't know this for certain. I didn't do this to my own child, but I think most babies are probably, they have some kind of chili concoction put in their bottles when they're young around here.
I got to tell you, I'm not familiar with Blue Ash chili. What is it about Blue Ash chili?
I don't know. And I don't want to take people to that much of a rabbit hole here, but the Cincinnati chili is based on a Greek recipe. Greek immigrants came over here, and there's some secret concoction that includes cinnamon and chocolate in the sauce.
Yeah.
And it is addiction. I'm an addict. I admit it. I got to go at least once a week to my Cincinnati chili.
For those of you listening and don't know what Cincinnati chili is all about, it's more about pasta and the sauce that goes on top of it, right? Am I right?
Yeah. And then they throw a bunch of cheese, and you can throw beans and onions. It's yeah.
Oh yeah. That's good stuff. Interesting. Very good. That's awesome. So you have a lot going on, but what do you have going on right now? What are you working on?
I've been creating a series of mini courses to help people. Like, for example, just finished one on storytelling. Next week, I'll have one done on virtual presentation skills. It's a way to introduce people to the topic without overwhelming them. It's also a great way to let people know how I work without having to make a full commitment if they don't know who I am. Doing a lot of work since March, helping people with virtual presentation skills. Just had to upgrade my own office, my own studio, because online's here to stay. Whether we like it or not, this is not going away. Yeah, we'll get back to live presenting, but we have to master this type of presenting if we're going to be highly sought experts and speakers.
I feel like I'm being judged now.
Nope, not at all.
So what do you think? Am I doing all right?
Well, I do like the plant growing out of your head. I thought that's interesting.
I should work on that. I should move that.
The reason I noticed that is because the first time I ever did a video series, we were so proud of ourselves. And the first piece of comment I got, the first feedback was, why is there a tree growing out of your head? Okay, I guess we'll do that series over again.
Yeah, well, there's something to be said for that. I need to move some things. Anyway, okay. It's not perfect. I agree. You've got a lot of stuff going on. So tell me, what do you do to recharge?
I like to exercise, spend time with the dogs, work out. Well, except when I throw out my back shoveling the snow for my dogs. That's different. But no, I like that. And I love to listen to audiobooks. I listen to books about speaking and storytelling, but I need to get away from it from time to time. I will confess, I'm a Star Wars nerd. I love to listen to some of those Star Wars novels.
Nice.
Yeah, that's it.
So what are you reading right now?
I'm reading a book called The Narrative Gym, which I highly recommend to anybody who's interested in storytelling. The Narrative Gym by Randy Olson.
Gym, J-E-M?
No, yeah, G-Y-M, just like gymnasium.
Oh, okay.
Randy is a former marine biologist, PhD, and he left that world to go become a Hollywood documentarian. And he has a unique perspective on the world of science and the world of filmmaking and storytelling. And he's popularized a concept about storytelling that's so simplistic that it's deceptively simplistic. It's actually very difficult to learn how to use, but once you do, it makes a lot of sense. But this is an introduction. I recommend that book and his whole series of books. But yeah, Narrative Gym, it'll give you a whole different perspective on storytelling.
And his name was Randy what?
Randy Olson.
Olson.
I can never remember if it's O-L-S-E-N or S-O-N, but they're on Amazon and Audible.
Okay. Yep, we'll find it. All right. Awesome. Thank you.
Sure.
So, I mean, tell me, you have, obviously you work from home like we all do.
Yeah.
You have the ability to get out and see people, via Zoom or however the connectivity goes. And you obviously you have dogs, and I'm guessing you have a spouse there.
Family. Yeah, I got a family.
Yeah, a family. So they help you to see your blind spots, but there's got to be other people that you have to help you to see your blind spots. Who is that?
Well, I got to tell you, it's my partner, Linda. She's really good because I'll throw ideas at her, and she sees what I don't as far as my personal. And we also are business. We consult each other in our business. She's in real estate, but my coach is at Stage Time University, for example. And I've got some good friends through Toastmasters. They can help me see my blind spots as far as my speaking, my coaching, and also my business. So I have, you have to work hard once opportunity's there. You got to be ready for it. But I've also been very lucky.
Yeah.
I was in the right place at the right time when I met Darren in 2002, asked him to be my mentor. And because of him, I've met many other people. You mentioned Fripp earlier. All these incredible people who are so giving, and they'll help you as long as they see that you're taking it seriously and doing the work. So I've got a whole stable of people I can go to, which is wonderful.
Yeah. Well, that's great. That's very helpful.
Yeah, it is.
Interesting. Well, what does the next level of your success look like?
Right now, I do a lot of individual coaching, and I'm not doing as much speaking as I would like. So to me, to ramp it up is to do more group coaching. I think group coaching is more rewarding for everyone involved. And I've been so busy with coaching and building business the last year, just helping people with their virtual presentations, that kind of put my own speaking on the back burner. So I want to increase that just to get the message out more about the value, the importance, critical nature of presentation skills, especially storytelling, and why we need to embrace online. This isn't, like I said before, it's not temporary.
Right.
And help people understand how best to utilize that, because it is going to be a difference maker. And it's opened so many opportunities. Yeah. I was just doing some research a few weeks ago, and there are roughly 330 million people, English speakers in the United States. Well, when you've got the camera now is your teleportation device to the world, there's 1.5 billion people speak English on this planet. It's a huge opportunity to meet people you never would have met before.
Right.
The technology was there before 2020, by the way. But people were conditioned to thinking, oh, no, I can't do that.
Right. And now we're forced to do it.
I had that conversation so many times pre-2020 with people who said, oh, no, I have to meet people face to face. And I thought, well, you're going to find out eventually, not knowing that eventually was this compact 12-month period where COVID was going to force us to do this.
Right.
There's a huge side benefit to this awful situation we're in, and that is increased communication opportunities.
Yeah, it's a huge benefit, I think.
Yeah, it is.
So I really have a lot of questions there, but I mean, group coaching. What do you call group coaching? You would go out to an organization and coach them, coach a team.
Yes, whether it's overall speaking or specifically storytelling or even virtual presentation skills. I work with groups of anywhere from 4 to 12 generally works best, where they get the skills. But what I like about the group setting is that each person in a group is going to hear what I teach differently. And I'm, as a coach or a trainer, I can't be there all the time. So in essence, they become each other's coaches and trainers.
Right.
They have their own perspective on the material, which is great. There is our friend Ed Tate, who's another world champion and certified speaking professional, says, the answer is always in the room if you let it be. And they'll take their perspective, and I don't have to be the all-knowing trainer. There's no such thing. There's no one right way to do anything. But take what has worked for me, proven processes, and let them incorporate it into their world, however it works best. And that's why I like group training. And it's less taxing on everyone involved. You don't want to listen to just one person talk all the time.
Right. Right.
That's why I love to get groups involved, and it's just more enjoyable for everyone.
Yeah. And that's why what caused me to start to have different people come on to be interviewed on this show. So really the show started off with me talking every day.
Yeah.
You can imagine that got a little old.
Yeah.
Not only for me, but for the audience, really.
Sure.
So, yeah. And having an understanding and being able to give up, what I thought I was giving up, allowing other people to come on the show and to get to promote themselves. That has been the most freeing thing that I've ever done. So,
yeah, it's easier, like you said, it's better for you, and the audience is getting this constant mix. That's one of the ideas we teach with online presentation. We don't want one talking head talking at us all the time. Get a co-host, get somebody to help out with your presentation. It's better for the audience.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and I just put up the URL that you have for your speaking coaching.
Yeah, speaking CPR, yeah.
Yeah, so that's great. If anybody wants to go find out more about Michael and what he does from a coaching perspective, from a speech coaching perspective, just go there. It's awesome.
Check it out. Happy, yeah.
Yeah, awesome. So tell me a little bit more about your speaking that you're going to be doing. So you haven't been speaking as much lately. Obviously, not many people have, but how are you going to go about getting more speaking engagements?
Pick up the phone and make more calls. It's like I tell people when it comes to speaking, you can't shortcut it. You've got to go do the speaking. You've got to get beat up and bruised and bloodied. You got to make mistakes and do it over again. Just make the time to make more calls, ask people for opportunities. There are people speaking out there. there are more meetings going on than ever before. It's just on a camera. So the opportunities are there. What I'm hearing from meeting planners is they're so frustrated with the quality of the virtual presentations.
Mm-hmm.
People don't have a good room set up. Their cameras aren't good. The audio is terrible. They're treating the live presentation of the camera just like a live audience, and it doesn't work that way. You cannot have somebody talking to a camera, as you just mentioned, for 30 minutes. People don't want that. We've got to have more audience involvement. We've got to have change of pace all the time.
Yeah.
And that's partly because of who we've evolved to as a society with regard to our attention spans.
Mm-hmm.
Although I'm a big believer that the attention span of a goldfish, that's too simplistic. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
If our attention spans truly were that short, Brian, why is it that in 2019, 230 million people bought tickets to a movie about the Avengers and sat there for 2.5 hours?
Right.
They stayed there from start to finish. Why? Because it's a really compelling story and it kept their attention. So it's not the medium's fault. It's the presenters who are boring. I mean, that's what it is. And I've been one of them before, so I can say that. You got to learn how to adjust to the medium to keep people engaged.
No, that's awesome. So what is a tip that you would leave the audience with? What is the tip that you have to keep the audience engaged?
Number one is you've got to call it a change of pace element, or just change what people are seeing. You want to talk a little bit, put up a slide. You want to come back to what I call the talking head, and then ask them a question in a chat box. Then show a video, show another slide, and put them in breakout rooms. You just constantly have to change it up. Now, that takes a lot of work. I've given over 500 online presentations, workshops, coaching calls, hosting of webinars since 2017. It took a long time, well into 2020, before I felt like, I'm really starting to get this. It does. You're going to feel uncomfortable, and I don't know any other way to say this, Brian, but you just got to get over it. You got to keep doing it. And the beauty of the online is you can record it. And here's the really important part. You got to go back and watch it. Watch it and ask yourself this question. What did I do well? Because we don't do that. We always beat ourselves up. Oh my gosh, I did this wrong. And okay, we'll get to that. But ask yourself, what did I do well? Get out a checklist. And those things you need to point out to yourself, because if you don't point it out, you're going to stop doing those. So once you've got that, now go back and say, what can I fix next time? And make a list. And then do not try to attack the whole list the next time.
Just pick 1, 2 things?
1 or 2 things. Just you've been on some of the coaching calls, right? When we give, those are intense calls, right? We're giving you this list of things. And then our last thing we tell you is, don't try to fix us all at once.
Right.
Pick the top 2, go work on those. And then when you feel like you got a pretty good handle on those, then go get 2 more. And that's how you constantly improve.
Wow. And that's good advice. That's really good advice.
Glad it helps.
Wow. So there's so much that we can talk about, but we're almost at the end of our time. So really, it's amazing how quickly this has gone.
Yeah.
So tell me what it is that we could do, because obviously I'm a virtual presenter now as well. So I'm working to get as many speaking engagements as I can. I've niched myself, and maybe I've niched myself too narrowly, to go directly for the intellectual and developmental disabilities group, because that's where I've spent the majority of my time over the last year. I've spoken to a lot of different groups from that perspective. Yeah. But what would you say would be the best direction for me to go from a call? Yes, and picking up the phone is hard to do, but I've been doing it now over the past few weeks and having a little bit of success. But what would you say would be the one thing that maybe it's not one thing, maybe it's more than that, but how could you go forward? How should I be going forward with that?
I'm going to respectfully disagree with something you just said. You're not too niche. I don't think you can get too niched in this world. When you become the guy about a topic in a specific area, what's going to happen is you're going to become very well known in that area. Let's say specifically you go into the community that just deals with blindness. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? What's going to happen is they're going to talk to their friends, maybe somebody in the deaf community,
Right.
or maybe somebody in amputee community. I'm just thinking of different disabilities that people have had, and they're going to talk, and you're going to have this organic growth, but you become the guy in that area. And I need to do a better job of that with what I do. We all do. I go to these networking events all the time, and it's like, no, you can't niche yourself enough as far as I'm concerned, because there are so many people in any given group. Lots of people have had some type of vision issue, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
Go start there, and it's counterintuitive. Our brains are telling us, oh no, we got to serve everybody. No, you can't serve everybody, because everybody isn't, and it doesn't exist. If that makes sense. And when you become that expert in that field, I promise you, it's like a funnel. All right, our instinct is to go into the top of the funnel.
Yeah.
The reality is we need to start at the very narrow tip and flip it upside down, because what happens is as you become known and you start to kind of work your way down, all of a sudden your influence starts to expand like the funnel to the top. It's like flipping the funnel upside down. Counterintuitive, but that's how the most successful people have done it.
Okay. So just keep doing it.
Keep doing it. Yep.
Awesome.
Take away, I'm too niched out of your vocabulary. Doesn't exist.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you being on. This has been great.
You do, my friend.
Thank you. And so I'll close off. I'll let you go. You're going to go to the green room and hang out in the green room if you would. I'll be back there in a little bit. Make yourself comfortable and grab some of the M&Ms and whatnot.
Oh, I will, definitely.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's good stuff.
Rock.
Well, thank you again.
Thanks, Brian.
All right. See you, Michael. Wow. What another great show. Oh, Michael Davis really brought it to town today. Tomorrow we have another great speaker coming in. This guy, his name is Eric Bam. And yes, Bam, really, it's his name. So Eric Bam will be on, and then Friday will be Bryn Tillman. Those are both on the Vision Alignment Show. But we also have the Radical Vision for Disability show. That is a show that we do at 11:30 on Eastern on Fridays. And really want to make sure that you're there for that as well, because we're going to be continuing to talk about disabilities and the caregivers and what the people with disabilities would know, or what the persons with disabilities would want the caregivers to know that maybe they can't always tell them. So look forward to that. And as always, just keep one eye on the road. Thank you very much.